fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the Shokugan modeling project DAIDENJIN from Denshi Sentai Denjiman. Let me tell you, that's a bit of a tongue twister, but this is the model kit for the main robo from that series. You can see the robot mode over here. We have the jet mode that it also transforms into, and this is the outer packaging. I really like this pic here where it has the robot and the stages of transformation to get into the jet. That's really fun. So that's pretty much it for the packaging. Nice shot there on top. If we open up the box, we can see there are two boxes inside. So I will attempt to take these out, and we can get some nice color shots for these. So here's the first box. They're the same packaging. It's just this is number 1 and this is number 2, as you can see. So again, we have that shot of the robot transforming into the jet. They really like this shot. It's all over the packaging here. And then, of course, we have the Denji Tiger, which you can ride inside. That was a premium Bandai set. But yeah, overall, I think this is pretty cool. I'm excited to put this one together, so I'm going to go ahead, get it all put together and stickered up, and we'll take a closer look. So here is DAIDENJIN in vehicle mode, all fully assembled and stickered up. And I'm just going to say it right now. I'm sure I'm going to say DAIDENJIN wrong at some point because it's kind of a tongue twister for me. So we'll see how this goes. But you can see here in vehicle mode, it's kind of a box. I mean, it's obviously very faithful to the original, but this is just kind of what they were working with at the time. But you can see we have a few stickers. There's actually not too many stickers in this set. There's a decent amount of either painted pieces or just using different colored plastic for the accents, which is nice. You have this little emblem here on his belt buckle, that's a sticker, and these little pieces here on his like kneecaps. Now, technically, you're supposed to pop these in, and I forget exactly how this works, but there is a little indent. There we go. So you're able to push in one side and then flip these out, so you can kind of see how it's beveled there. And I think you're supposed to put these in like this when it's in vehicle mode and then flip them around as part of the robot transformation. And you can certainly go ahead and do that, but I just feel like that's a lot of effort. And so I'm just going to leave these sides in all the time because it's underneath the jet, so I don't really see the point in it. Although apparently now I can't get this back in, of course. There we go. Finally, that's in. But I just wanted to show off that it does have that functionality where you can push those in on the outer sides so that it's a way to pop them out and then you can put them in backwards so they don't have the logo. But I'm just going to leave them in. But anyway, here is the jet mode. You can see it has this piece of landing gear on the front, and you can just fold this up and then push this all the way in, and it folds up very nicely. Now, if you have it in the vehicle mode, it's going to fall forward without that out because, as you can see, it's got nothing to kind of keep it up. If I just put it down like this, it's just going to immediately fall forward. And then it's got little wheels here on the bottom of what will be the feet in robot mode. I think it's a little weird that they just kind of hang underneath like that. I probably would have just done something like turn them to the side or maybe just turn them around. I guess technically you could pop these off and maybe turn them around like this, although that doesn't really look much better. And again, it's being faithful. I'm critiquing like a ridiculously old vehicle mode from, 70s Sentai, and that's silly of me to do, but here we are. It just has the feet hanging down here. But it's a pretty cool little vehicle mode. Let's go ahead, let's get into the transformation for the robot mode. Alright, so if the landing gear is still out, you want to go ahead and push that up in here. Otherwise, we're going to lift this up and just kind of leave it about there. We're going to come to these little panels right here, and they're actually connected to this section, so we have to kind of lift these up, which can be a little difficult just because it's kind of hard to get in there. But if we go ahead and lift this up, you can see that they were connected to that little spot right there. So we just need to get a fingernail or something in there to pop that out. And then that will allow you to raise these sections up. But before we do that, we need to open up this little panel right here and flip out the robot head. And that will flip around like that. Then we can close this up, and then these panels will raise up like this. And then you can see they come together for the D for DAIDENJIN. It's really a tongue twister. There we go. So we got that going on there. At this point, we are going to bring the legs out. So you want to grab a hold of this section here and pop this out. And you can see that there are these little pegs right here that peg into the side of the legs. So you want to bring these out, and then you can actually fold these down. They're really just to keep the legs in place in the vehicle mode. So fold that in, and then this is going to rotate down around like this. And then there is a little peg on the inside of the leg right there that's going to peg into this little spot here. And it's kind of hard to see, but there's a little peg hole right there. So this is going to come in, and that's going to tab in there. And then with these panels, you want to bring it down, fold it in like this, and then bring it in like that. And that's going to give you full range of motion there in the double jointed knee. If you leave them all the way up, it's going to get in the way. But they fold in there really nicely, and that works really well. So then you can just swing the foot down, and then take the wing, and then just fold it against the leg like that. We're going to repeat the process again over here. So bring this out, fold this little peg down, fold this in and down, and this will peg in to the side of the leg there. Bring this panel down, rotate this in, and close that up. Fold up the wing, bring down the foot, and then as you can see, we are most of the way done. But what we're going to do is we're going to grab this whole arm assembly, and if you can see on the inside here, and it's probably a little difficult to see, that shoulder piece here is actually on a track, and it will slide all the way up. So you want to grab a hold of this and slide the whole thing up like that, so you can see that that piece moved up in there. Repeat the process over here. You have to be a little careful just so that the shoulder pad doesn't get stuck in the track there. Let me zoom all the way out. So once you have the arms all the way up, you can kind of bring them around just to kind of position them a little bit. And then the last step is to take the horns of the robot mode and just pull them a little bit out to the side, like so. And then just make sure that this is all the way here on the back. And there we go. We have our SMP DAIDENJIN. And he looks great. Really, really nice job on this. Like I said, most of this is just different colored plastic. These little black spots right here are actually really tiny little stickers. You could probably just use like a Gundam marker or even a Sharpie or something if you didn't want to mess with them, because they're a little difficult to apply because they're so tiny. These long ones here aren't too bad, but these really tiny ones right there are kind of a bummer. Stickers here for these kneecap pieces. Sticker here for the belt buckle. And that's pretty much it. Honestly, there's stickers here. This is one big sticker here on the shoulder pads. Now, they do give you some option stickers. And when I was looking at the packaging, the packaging like of this guy didn't have any of the option stickers, but there are stickers if you want to put around these forearms here. So there's bands you can put around, and there's different like combinations you can do. You can do just on the lower part here. You can do the entire forearm. I think they had one for the bottom part of the skirt. So they did have some other option stickers. I decided not to do them because the box art didn't have them. And I think the box art is kind of what he officially looks like. So I wanted to stay official to what he looked like. But I guess you have those other options. But I think he looks fine the way he is. So I decided not to bother with those extra stickers. I think he looks really nice. All of this here on the head is fully painted. Now you do get a second face mask option here. You can see, and there are a set of stickers that you can put on the eyes here. And so you can switch that out. You can take this one off, put this one on, swap them back and forth. I wanted to point out that there is a second face option included. But again, I'm happy with this one, so I'm just going to leave this one on. I think he looks really cool. Let's roll through articulation here. So we do have a ball joint for the head. So you can move that side to side. You can tilt a little bit side to side, front to back. Decent range of motion there. Of course, you have a rotation here for the shoulder as well as a hinge. And then you can move this piece up so it doesn't get in the way. Now, it's kind of a little strange how like this kind of moves around a little independently. I kind of wish that pegged in a little bit easier, but I think because of the nature of having that piece slide up and down, they couldn't really do that. But so you can kind of move this around on its own if you want. And of course, like I said, there's that hinge there, so you can get all the way out here for the arm and not have it get in the way. But you have a hinge there, you have a full rotation. Now, if you just leave this closed like that, you're not going to really run into any issues with this piece flopping around. But if you lift it all the way up, it does loosen it a little bit. I think technically this is supposed to be more on the white piece here, and if I kind of pull this a little bit, yeah, that should make it flop around a little bit less. It's supposed to be, yeah, there we go. The arm was a little bit pulled away from the body, so, but it's very simple to correct. Bicep swivel there, double jointed elbows. So you have an elbow joint in the white part and the orange part. So there we go. It's a little difficult to get him to utilize it, but he does have double jointed elbows there, which is nice. I believe you can move... No, we have a ball joint for the fist. And he's got 2 closed fists right now, but he does come with some alternate hands that we'll get into in a minute. Waist swivel here. And I think there's... Is there movement? No, I guess that's... I thought there was an ab crunch. I guess technically you can unpeg this. It's kind of on a ball joint, as you can see, but it's not... You can't get a lot of ball joint movement out of it. It's mostly just for a swivel side to side. You do have these joints down here in the hips, so you can kind of bring this down, move this side to side. You have a thigh swivel there. So, because he does have this kind of stationary skirt piece, which can get in the way, but as long as you just bring this down a little bit, so there's kind of a hinge here that you can swivel, and then there's out to the side swivel. So the range of motion is there. It just looks a little weird when you kind of have to bring this piece down. But if you just bring it down a little bit, you can get a pretty good range of motion if you wanted to kick pretty far out to the side or kick forward. And then you can just kind of tuck it back under there. But of course you have the thigh swivel. You have those double jointed knees that I showed off earlier. So really nice range of motion there. You have a hinge here, which is obviously for the transformation, but you can utilize it as kind of an ankle swivel front to back. You have a swivel side to side. And then you do have ankle tilt as well. So really nice range of posability. And it's a nice solid figure. Like it feels solid. Being a model kit, it doesn't feel fragile or anything like that. It really, really looks good. I mean, Bandai does a nice job with these SMP model kits. Just a really, really solid robot. I think he's really great. So let's go ahead. Let's get into the other accessories that he comes with. So first up, he has 4 sets of hands in total. So he's got the closed fists on right now. You also get kind of a like slightly grasping set of hands that we're going to use for some weapons in a moment. Then you have these like fingers straight out. I'm assuming they shoot lasers or something like that. I'm not really sure what's going on with this set of hands, but he can also karate chop, I guess. And then you have like a really open set of hands for maybe posing, something like that, which I think looks pretty cool. So he's got 4 sets of hands in total, and he comes with 3 weapons. So first up, we have the Denjiken, which is his primary sword. Now we can use the closed set of hands that he's got on right now, and what you do is you just pop this apart where the handle meets the hilt. So pop that off, feed this through the hand like so, and then just go ahead and peg that back in. And there he is wielding the sword. It's a pretty decent sized sword, honestly. I think he looks great with it. Pretty huge sword there. I like that quite a bit. He's also got this boomerang weapon. And this is one big sticker on each side of this. And I should have pointed out on the Denjiken that there's a sticker here and a sticker here on each side. So everything else, the hilt is fully painted. All the blade is silver. Everything else is different colored plastic or already comes painted. Just 2 stickers on each side. Now for the boomerang weapon, you want to utilize this set of hands because it's got kind of a track, as you can see. And this has kind of like a little long peg here that you can go ahead and slide this into the track. And then he can hold this like this, or if you want, you can actually put it around like this as well. So that gives him 2 options on how to hold it. And switching out the hands is very simple. You just go ahead, pop one off, and then pop the other one right in there. It's a ball joint. Very, very simple to do. Now, I think with these, they actually have an extra joint so they can move in and out. And because of that, they seem to sit farther away from the wrist. You can kind of move them around like that. So that looks a little weird, I have to admit. The other ones, as you can see, sit much closer to the wrist. but I guess they wanted to give that extra joint there to kind of move this up and down. And then, of course, with the ball joint, you get a nice range of motion. So, yeah, I think that's pretty cool. He's got the sword, he's got the boomerang, but that's not even my favorite accessories. The sword is a very close second, but the best accessory, in my opinion, let me take these out of here, is the ball and chain. They actually give you a metal chain. I assume it's metal. It feels like it's metal. And you build this spike. It's really, really cool, this spiked ball. So it's 2 halves. Each one of these is an individual spike piece that you put in. Actually, there might be some around the outer edge that come molded into the 2 halves, but all these ones in the middle you put in. And then you put the chain around a peg on the inside. You close it up. It looks really seamless. And then you have this big piece over here that this just clips into his hand. So you just kind of pop this around his fist like that. And then you have this giant ball and chain. What I like to do, take this one off and use the open hand like so. And then I kind of just like to put this hand up like this. And then bring this up and kind of put it in between the fingers like that. And let me zoom out so you can actually see what I'm doing. But I think that's really cool. I like this weapon a lot. I think it really works. I think it looks really cool. I mean, that's a really long length of chain that they include. And it goes together really well. This piece here does have 1 sticker on each side. So that's 1 full sticker on each side. It's the same on both sides. But it clips onto the fist really easily. The chain connects and stays in place really nicely. I love the way the giant spiked ball came out and the way the chain fits inside it. It just works perfectly. This just looks awesome. This is my favorite accessory. Like I said, the sword is a very close second. I think the sword is very cool. And there's nothing wrong with the boomerang. Just personally my least favorite. But I think this looks awesome. I love this weapon. I think this is definitely how I'm going to pose it on my shelf. I just think this is such a cool accessory. I really appreciate them giving an actual metal chain. I think that's a big deal. And it just looks really, really cool. I like this a lot. And I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think Denji Tiger is going to have places to store the extra hands and the extra weapons for this, which is awesome. If you're not familiar, Denji Tiger is like a giant transport for this to fit inside, which is insane. The model kit is seriously massive. So that's hopefully on the agenda sometime soon. I wanted to do DAIDENJIN first, because obviously he's going to go inside and I want to have him put together before I get to Denji Tiger. Also, Denji Tiger is going to take a while because it is quite massive. But I'm very excited for it. I think this guy looks great. I really think he came out great. Honestly, it wasn't really even that difficult to build. I want to say it took maybe 2 times of maybe an hour to 2 hours each. Like I just throw in some TV or something and like build for an hour or 2 hours at a time. And I want to say it took like 2 sessions of that to finish this guy. Really wasn't too difficult. I think he looks great. I think he transforms very easily. I think it's very faithful to the original robot design. And there's really not even that many stickers. Like I said, they have option stickers. So if you want to put more on, you can. But I think he looks perfectly fine like this. And the only stickers I feel like you really need to use, you know, the belt buckle here and the 2 down here on the kneecaps. Otherwise, everything's really just kind of a different colored plastic. And I think it really, really came out well. And he has those wheels on the feet still. So if you want him to kind of like move around on those wheels, they don't work all that great, to be honest, but they're there. And he can utilize them in robot mode as well. I like him a lot. I'm really happy I picked this up. SMP usually does a great job, and this one's no exception. So I think this guy's great. He was a normal retail release, so it shouldn't be too difficult to track down if you're looking for him. I think somewhere in the area of like $50 before shipping, give or take, you know, $15 in either direction, depending on where you pick them up from. But yeah, really like them a lot. I think the accessories are great. The plastic quality is great. Very easy to assemble, very fun to assemble. Don't really have any complaints about this guy. He's really great, and I love him. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, Thanks so much for watching.